Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm just getting up this morning and got the bed head going on. Um, Having coffee. I'm winding from the whole last week. It's been a very interesting week. Past week. Um, Podcast after podcast. Um, Talking about events. Hey Jericho, what a great morning it is in Pennsylvania, huh? There's a lot going on. Joe the Box is great. The American Warehouse is great. They're always with open arms for patriots to come and visit the warehouse. I spent Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday there. Met a great bunch of people. Did podcast after podcast. I'm getting my voice back. I am good to go at this point. I hope it was a lot. Got a lot of information. Got a lot of new information, and it is very, 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 very interesting. So let's first off on tomorrow, July 13th, is the anniversary out in Butler that President Trump was shot. So we need to remember Corey. They're not doing anything out in Pittsburgh for Corey, but I think he should be remembered. He should never be forgotten. He's a hero. And I hope President Trump doesn't forget him either. That's first of all. If you want to read a good book, here you go. Rudy's new book, The Biden Crime Family. Rudy Giuliani. Forwarded by Stephen Bannon. I got this book at the warehouse. I will read it, and then I will share it with you what it was all about. But I haven't gotten there. I don't know if I'll get time to do that before my book comes out, Over the Wall, J6 Vigil, and Beyond. We need to talk about that because I need to get that out by September 11th. That the American people need to know what happened over the wall outside that DC jail. When I first went down to DC jail, I met Mom and Mickey probably 2 months before. She had started at 2 months, and then I went down, and I instantly fell in love with Mickey. That's Ashley Babbitt's mother. And I think she was called to do that because Ashley would have wanted that to support our J6s across the country. That was a very structured event. It was 902 days that was down on that corner. I did not spend every day down at that corner because I live in Pennsylvania. But I did when I could. We'd start off to pledge allegiance to the flag and a prayer. And that was enough. That was enough when you see these people outside the jail and all the guards standing outside watching. And the protesters across the street were absolutely, it was disgusting. And then we would get on with the vigil. The guys from inside the jail would call out and talk about what the day's like, or in the events that are happening that day. It is very, very cool. Early on, President Trump called down on that corner, and he supported everything we have done to that point. He blessed us. He thanked us for standing up. And that wasn't an insurrection, by the way. That was the government saying it was an insurrection, but it wasn't an insurrection. It was people, American people, standing up for what they believed in. And I believed. I wasn't there January 6th, but I believe the people that were there January 6th stood up for the country. Sarah Carpenter carried a tambourine into the Capitol, and that was considered a weapon. She was an officer. She was a New York police officer. She was also there when 9/11 happened, and now she's also a J6er. What a great lady. What a great patriot she is. She could tell you some stories about 9/11 and January 6th. I met her this past week. It's the torture they went through in that jail is absolutely unforgivable, and we need justice. I can't explain to you guys enough that these guys have been tortured in solitary confinement, not given beds or pillows, anything, and not seen daylight for months. That jail should be closed, and every one of those people in that jail that work for that jail should be arrested. January 6th detainees were in a separate pod. Okay, they were all sectioned out from everybody else in the jail. They had their own little pod, and they stuck together. They believed in God. They believed in President Trump. They believed in Mickey. They believed in everybody that was out on that corner that supported them. And I did the same thing for them. I supported them, and I wanted them to know that we were out there supporting them, waving American flags, and our voices weren't going to stop, and we were going to be heard. And it was. I think it was. The people that lived around there, they never gave us a hard time. They were pretty quiet about it. I don't think they hardly complained about us being down on that corner, except when the counter protesters came and made all with their blowhorns and carried on. But we all seemed to get through that. As a mother, I can't imagine losing a daughter. I have 3 daughters, and I can't imagine losing a daughter because she was an unarmed veteran that stood up for the country, and she was killed. So in any event, I'm writing the book about January 6th. Let me see if I could find this really quick. Let's see here. I am looking at right after that happened, Lieutenant Michael Byrd, later public identified himself as a Capitol police officer who shot Ashley Babbitt. In a televised interview, he said he believed he was defending members of Congress and described the House chamber entrance as the last line of defense. He stated that he repeatedly ordered people to stop before firing and that he believed Babbitt posed as a threat, even though he did not know whether she was armed. Byrd also described receiving death threats after the shooting. Attorneys for Babbitt's family disputed this account, arguing that she was unarmed and was not an intimate threat, and that he used the force of deadly force was not justified. Federal investigations ultimately conducted the criminal charges against Byrd were not warranted. Now, if you and I went out and shot somebody, we would be instantly put in jail. He got a promotion. He got a Medal of Honor for shooting her, which is absolutely wrong. Nancy Pelosi is to blame. Michael Byrd is to blame. Officer Fanone is to blame. The Capitol Police are to blame. The D.C. Metro are to blame. And the government is to blame for what happened on January 6th. And things are going to start coming out. Let's see. I'm just reading parts of remember when the 2-year walk was? 2-year walk when January 6, 2023. We supported the D.C. in Washington, D.C. with 2-year anniversary walk honoring Ashley Babbitt, remembering others who died in connection with the events of January 6 in 2021. We gathered as intended as a peaceful memorial, where participants planning to lay flowers on the United States Capitol. Remember that, guys? In memory of Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylan, Kevin Greason, and Benjamin Phillips, and now Bart Shively. Among those taking part were Ashley's mother, Mickey Whitehoff, according to her account. The group allowed into certain areas around the Capitol, but was not permitted to carry their signs and American flags into the restricted areas. They instead placed flowers on the other locations around the Capitol and continued their walk. As they proceeded, they encountered an area without a sidewalk rather than crossing multiple streets and lanes of traffic. We walked on the roadway where there was the Capitol Police stopped them. I don't know how much you guys remember that. Mickey later said she immediately placed her hands behind her back and approached by officers, but nevertheless aggressively taken into custody. She was arrested and charged with the failure to obey a lawful order and obstructing a roadway. Now, if you have gates on the pavement, okay, and there's nowhere to walk, where are you going to walk? You're going to walk on the roadway, but you're not obstructing traffic. Okay. After her release, Mickey spoke publicly about the arrest. Shane believes she reflected the broader treatment that January 6 supporters had received. She also spoke about the nightly Freedom Corner vigil outside the Washington, D.C. jail, where supporters gathered each evening to pray and sing the national anthem to show support for January 6 detainees. For who attended the memorial walk that day, which I was one of them, the arrest of Ashley Babbitt's mother transformed in what had been intended as a day of remembrance into another event that would become part of a continued story around January 6th. They could not wait. That was their goal that day, is to arrest Mickey, Ashley Babbitt's mother, who's been shot. They couldn't wait to have the day that Ashley's mother would be arrested. And that was the 2-year anniversary. I can remember that like yesterday. We were walking at the Capitol. We laid flowers on the outside the Capitol. There was gates across the. You couldn't get close to the Capitol. There was just no way you can go and to the Capitol steps and lay flowers. It was so far back. It was on the street and back of the Capitol. And we laid flowers there. And you could see the guards all snickering and carrying on and just shaking their heads. And I believe that's the day one of our protesters went up and kicked all the flowers off and stomped on them. And that was either the first or second one. I got to check into that. That she went up and stomped on all the flowers and threw them. And the officers stood there snickering and nothing ever happened. I don't know who does that, and how the police let them do that is unbelievably not right. Let me see if I can find a letter from. Oh, I haven't. Hold on. I can't. I don't think. And then we have. So we did that for 5 years. 5 years. We did the 5th year anniversary, January 6, 2025. Our J6 heroes were there. Some of our J6 heroes were there. I was there. Some of the people that were on the corner were there. It was really a great event. Mickey, Nicole, everybody were there. We can never forget. But as we're walking down Constitution Avenue, a bunch of protesters were on the left side of me, screaming, carrying on. That was closer down by the Capitol. The police kept them back, but it just wasn't right. But our Capitol Police, the police that arrested and was stood outside DC jail, had to protect us. I just find that funny. Like, now it's coming back that, okay, we were at the jail, now you're defending us at the Capitol, that we're walking to the Capitol. It's something. It's something. I'm all over the place. Yeah, I get it. I'm sorry. This book is going to drive me crazy. You guys are going to drive me crazy. The book's going to be awesome. It's probably going to be about 150, 200 pages. That is probably going to be out. I'm trying to get it out before September 11th. Because of September 11th. I'm going to try to get out there because that was a government setup as long. And January 6th just met that it was all just government. So I want to get it out by September 11th. And I won't sell that on Amazon. I will sell it myself, or it will be on JillBooks.com. Jill, that has the Beach Report, she's a writer. She is doing my book for me, and right now that book is in her hands. I did. Yeah, it started writing. I'm almost done, Jericho. She told me last week. She said, "You got to get to the end of this week to get this book done, so we can get it published and get it out of here." And she's talking like Joe the Boss. Get it out of here. We need to get it out of here so we can do another book. So we are going to do that. She is writing another 9/11 book, so we're going to have 2 books out, hopefully by September 11th. And we'll see how that goes. I'll be doing podcasts here and there. I've already done 8 podcasts to this point. I'm taking a break right now, but I'm going to get back on it, and I'm going to start doing podcasts again. In August, I'm meeting with Lego Man for the production of his movie. We will talk then. I will take my J6 flag, and we will have that. That's in Pennsylvania too, Jericho, by the way. The production is in Pennsylvania. That is August 1st. If you want to know more, you let me know, and I'll give you information on that. And you might even be my guest. So that would be interesting. That would be really cool. So we're going to do that. That's my next big project. Then it's September 11th. I'll be out in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, for the 9/11 museum, for the 9/11 memorial. And then we're going to go the September 11th. And then I think the 13th of September, I'm back up to the warehouse, and we are meeting with a whole bunch of people from out in Pittsburgh, from the committees out there. They're going to the warehouse to see the warehouse because we bragged about it so much that they want to see the warehouse, and we're going to go all together and do that. So I'm sure I will be live streaming that. And then after that, I'm hoping I'll do some more podcasts on the book Over the Wall, J6 Vigil and Beyond. Things are popping up all over the place, guys. You'll see me here September 17th. Just go, okay, all right. Thanks, Jericho. Follow Jericho, follow myself, follow Jill on the Beach Report, and we'll talk about tomorrow. I think we're going to talk about Corey that was shot out in Butler when President Trump got shot, and remember his family. And there was 2 others. Dutch was another one that was shot out there. He regrouped. I'm not sure where he is, but we will. I'll have to ask Jill on that, and we'll find out. Her book is Like It Was Yesterday. Jill Cohen. She remembers it like it was yesterday. Her brother also was part of 9/11. He was in a building outside of 9/11, and he wouldn't let them leave a building until they knew it was safe. Also, Louis, that was out at the American First Warehouse, he was a first responder firefighter on the front lines. Also on 9/11, he was in one of the towers helping people out, and he got caught. Instead of going right, he left. He went left. He said, "Thank God he went left because he made it out." He was telling awesome stories about that. He also has a book out. I forget where that is. He is on, let's see. He's on Life magazine. He was on Engine 47, New York firefighter. This is what he said. I stepped outside for bring about 40 to 50 people down the stairway. I looked around. It was crazy. Somebody yelled, "Look out, the tower's coming down." I started running. I tossed my air mask away to make myself lighter. Next thing I know, there's a big black ball of smoke. I threw myself onto my knees, and I'm crying. And I said to myself, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." I was crawling then. The biggest miracle thing in the world, my hands came into my air mask, and I still had air. Another 15 seconds, I wouldn't have made it. So it is jillbooks.com. You can get this book on there, and there is another book on there. Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? She was adopted, and that book is also available on there. So soon mine also will be there. I would say starting in September or middle of September. Here is what Louis gave me. Faces of Ground Zero. Okay, and this was him then. That was 25 years ago. That picture was taken. Life magazine had One Nation, Faces of Ground Zero, and The American Spirit. The Faces of Ground Zero, Louis was the cover on that book, and this is that flyer for that. And he signed it for me, and what an amazing guy. He says he remembers going over the Washington Bridge and thinking, how lucky he was that he still had his family, but he also had a job to do. He knew he'd miss his family, but he knew he had a job to do and be down on Ground Zero and make sure everybody was accounted for. That is etched in his mind forever. God bless him, and I can't imagine even going through that. So he's like, well, January 6th was almost the same because of that insurrection. It wasn't bad as 9/11, but it was bad. And I think we have a lot more coming down the pike that it's not going to get any better at this point. It always gets worse before it gets better. So I've got a lot to do. I got to get some more writing done. If you have anything to say in that book, Jericho, please let me know, and I'll make sure it goes in there word for word. David Summerall gave me something. Sarah Carpenter gave me something. Mickey gave me something. There's a couple quotes in there that you'd be amazed. David Summerall, his book, The Bloody Hill. Chris, I can't think of Chris's last name, that did his movie too. They're all going to be in my book. I can't find it right now, but I have them. They're all going to be in the back of my book of the stories that I've told. Hi, Carol. Stories that have been told about 9/11. I mean, not 9/11, January 6th. Sorry. I got 2 books going on, and I'm a mess. Have my first cup of coffee. I think I need another one, I think, at this point. So we got a lot going on. I got to get something together so I can do another live and see whatever. But you need to watch my Cherie, The Alamo, that was shown at the warehouse. That is on their website, theamericanwarehouse.com. They're also on YouTube. You guys need to watch that movie because it's going to open your eyes of what's going on today. This stuff is right in front of our faces. Right in front of our faces. That's what's happening right now. And if the American people don't start standing up, we're going to lose our freedom. And we're going to become a communist country. It's already starting to happen out in Dearborn. It's starting in Texas, and it's starting in New York City. And if it continues, it's going to be a pandemic, and it's going to go across the country, and we're going to lose our freedom. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for my grandchildren for that. So that's where I'm at with that. It's been already a morning. It's almost 10 o'clock. I need to get some more writing done, get it to Jill. And I'm sure Jill is going to go live shortly. You need to watch her. Her journey was amazing. She can't thank me enough for taking her to the First American Warehouse. And she is back in Florida. She drove 2 days to be back in Florida. She made a stop. She made going to the Carolinas. Somebody clipped her with her car. Her car is fine. She's fine. She made it back to Florida yesterday. And I think she was at Daytona Beach and at a concert last night just to unwind. She loved it. And she can't wait till the 2 new books come out. So she has the beach report in the morning. She does sunrise and sunset beach report. Please go and watch her and please support her. We need to rate her and we need to support her. I love each and one of you guys. I finish always with my song, always, and then I will talk to you guys later. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to message me on Facebook, here, wherever. Okay, so I'm going to finish with and get on with the day. Please be safe. Love one another. and count your blessings. And oh, that's not it. It's the commercial. I hate commercials. Okay, here we go. And then I'll talk to you guys later. I promise. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life. And if I had to start again, it's just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today. 'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. USA, go. All right, I will talk to you guys later. And God bless, love one another, count your blessings, and say hello to a stranger. Talk to you soon.